I welcome you guys back into my video, and today's topic is how to vibe inside. You guys have to understand that no matter what happens, that the world outside of you is going to cause you trouble, and it's going to give you negativity, and it's going to make you less of who you need to be. What do? You look inside. I wrote a quote today. I wrote it in terms of you must be able to conform inside, because no matter what happens, you need to be a person of great success. You have to understand, in order for yourself to really look inside, you have to understand that it's much more important to do so. You understand that those people who look inside never have a problem. Why is that? Because they're never looking to the outside world to solve their problems. And they're never looking for anything outside of themselves. I mean, if you're a woman, you're never looking for a man to help your life. I mean, you're looking inside. I mean, if you're a man, I promise you that you're never looking for a woman to solve your problems. You're never looking for a mentor to solve your problems. You're a person solving them yourself. You're a person doing something that's going to help you to succeed. I today made sure no matter what, I got my journal. I started to solve problems. I started to look inside. I realized that the world's developing. I realized that it's only the inside of myself that's developing. I realized that no matter what, that in the outside world, there's many problems, and there are many people who are negative in terms of looking outside. And because they're looking outside, they're never people who can really do anything. You understand? Because they're looking too much outside for scraps of pleasure and for other people to solve their problems. Because guys, nobody else is going to solve your problems. I promise you, nobody is here for you in life. You understand? I'm here for something greater. You understand? I promise you, nobody in life is here for you unless you are something who can go for something greater too. You have to understand that you need to be a person who can really vibe. So to really vibe, you need to go inward. And when you're going inside, you're going to find out a much better talent. You're going to find some ideas. You're going to be a person who's really courageous. You're going to be a person who has the ideas. You're going to give the ideas. You're going to relax, and you have time. You have all the time in the world. You do your videos, you do your podcasts, you do your music, whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing, you have to understand, you go and do it. You realize that you only do it from within. Happiness is an inside job. You understand? I promise you, someone else said that. You understand that no matter what, I find out that it is, because no matter what, I'm a person growing my inner world. And because I grow my inner world, I'm always looking good. I'm always looking better. I used to look like crap. I used to be ugly. I used to be a person who had nothing. And I never even had myself. And you would understand that I was a person who was always running to other people. I was running to my biological dad to give me cigarettes. I was a person who was running toward women to give me sex. I was very desperate. And I had no 9-to-5 job, and I had no work, and I had no passion. You understand? I today have no 9-to-5 job because I don't need it. I have a 24/7 job coaching people. I do it for free. You understand that today I made a decision to really vibe inside. And why is that? Because I chose never to give money to inspire you anymore. You understand? Because no matter what, I give money for something greater. You understand? I never have to go on marketing inside Instagram and social media and giving money for those people who say paid advertisements, because I never use the word paid. And guess what? Because I never invest money into advertisements anymore, I never have to worry about money as much anymore, because guess what? It's never about worrying. So as soon as you move, I promise you, as soon as you remove the money barriers in your life and you have more money on you, you understand that it's really never the money that's making more money. You understand that it's really you who's really disciplined yourself to realize that you have better habits now where you can have more money in life. I promise you, once you have more money, you have also more skills, and the more skills you have, the more money you will have. You understand that those people who are building talents and skills are the ones who are creating a better mindset for themselves, and they're always around successful people all day. And today I was in a seminar of Robert Kiyosaki's seminar, and I was there for 5 hours with Success Resources with Australia. And it's an online virtual seminar because there's a recession going on outside of me, and it's called the coronavirus. And guess what? I don't care, because inside of me I have no coronavirus, and I'm still growing, and I'm never pinned down. Why? Because I never choose to be pinned down by other people. I choose to stay alone, because most of the people in the world are going to waste my time. Everybody who is not growing me is wasting my time. So I realized that inside social media, I never reply to people who say hello. I never care about your hello, because I don't know what you're offering in life. I don't care about where you're from in life. I don't care to reply to those people. who ask me where am I from. You have to understand that I care about gigs, I care about public speaking gigs, I care about people who can give me some free money. Understand? Because those people who can do something for me and also make sure that they can promote me, I promise you, those people deserve my attention. You understand? Because guess what? I don't care in terms of life about those people who never try to grow me. I care more than enough about people who can grow me. You understand? Because I only grow for something greater anyway. You have to understand that those people who are pushing themselves to grow and to lift and to inspire are the ones who are going to be lifted and inspired. You understand? I promise you that those people who really have it inside of them to really speak on camera and to do something on video and audio, regardless of what's going on inside the world, in terms of outside the world, you understand that you're never living out there. You have to live inside. And because of that, I promise you that you'll be successful because you're never paying attention to the outside world. And you never ever invest in paying attention. You only invest in attention. You only invest attention. You invest intention and attention. You never pay anything. You're never paying bills. You're never paying and purchasing. You're never buying anything. Why? Because you're an investor. I promise you, all you do is you invest. And you never invest in the outside world. I never look to the outside world for anything. I never care about them because I understand that they are never around me and they never are inspired by me. And I don't care because I really am a smart person. I am a smart individual and I do build my skills upon what I look inside. And because I do look inside, I am more successful than them and they hate it. I promise you they hate it. I promise you that they are jealous. And I don't care because those people who never need me to go to the top and never promote me and never build my legacy for me in terms of life, in terms of they never get inspired by me because I'm so inspirational, although they're haters of life. And you have to understand that those people who hate me will never ever promote me. You have to understand that no matter what, that those people who are negative may promote me in a negative manner, and those people who are positive may do it in a positive manner, although I'll never give them money to inspire them. I promise you, I'll never give them money to inspire them. Why? Because I find they're never worth it. I find they're never worth the money I give. You understand? I mean, they're worth freedom. I'd rather just do it for free because that way I never have to buy likes anymore. I never buy anything anymore. I realize that I have 229 followers on Instagram, and I grew up from zero. And I gave around $500 for that. I gave $2 per follow. I mean, I don't care about that anymore. You understand? Because those people who are 300,000 people who clicked on my Instagram to see what I'm doing are not inspired. So guess what? I promise you that those people are lazy and doing nothing in life. I promise you they're just egotistical people who believe that taking photos of themselves is nothing great. Because I just take care of myself and I follow my heart in terms of Jesus Christ and I go for something greater. So I don't care what they think, and it's the whole point of living. You have to understand, the whole point of living is to be in the moment. And I'm always in the moment. I'm always looking for new ideas. I'm always spreading positive material. I'm always looking for new ways of doing things. I today have this video. I realized that no matter what, I have to keep myself growing. So I read, I make sure I journal, I make sure that I surround myself around life coaching videos, and I have music also. I make sure no matter what, that I'm always planning something I hit. I have mentors that are always posting videos. I have free education online, and I realized that it's a long journey in life. I mean, you have to understand that you're always going to be alone. I promise you, your family is going to leave you. I promise you, everybody's going to leave you, and you're going to be alone. And how you react alone is how successful you are. So be a person who can be stronger throughout time, and the only way you can be stronger is through better knowledge. And when you do recover faster and faster and you adapt quicker and quicker, you're going to be a faster learner. And those people who can learn fast and speed read are the ones who can really adapt quickly. You need to be that type of person. You need to be a person who's really, let's say, foundational in what you're doing in terms of personal development, and you need to really look inside for it. You have to look inside to make sure that you can grow. You have to start slowly. I promise you it's a 6-year journey at least, because it's taken me 6 years to be able to even gather any type of momentum. You have to understand that now I'm at the top of my life. I'm really going for it. I'm really going up. And most people never see it. I promise you that they see some Instagram with 4,500 photos of me, and it's just photos of me on my inside my newsfeed. You have to understand that no matter what, it's inside my Instagram feed. And because of that, I promise you, they believe that's nothing special. You understand? Because it's special for me. You understand? Because it's my face and I brand myself with it and I show my face to everybody. And for them, it's nothing special. I never do it for them. I do it for something greater. Although you understand that when they switch the tables and I promise you, when they put their 10,000 photos inside Instagram photos and they're modeling and they look the sexiest they've ever been, I promise you it's a different outlook. I promise you they'll never start judging me anymore. You understand? Because they've never done it. You have to understand that they've never had 4,000 photos of themselves. You understand? I promise you they've never done that. And those people just never find that inspirational. You understand? So they don't like their face, and those people who really, let's say, are negative upon me are the ones who have 10 posts on Instagram and 10,000 followers and have no bio link. They're educating nobody and they have 10,000 followers. I see another woman who has, at one point, I realized about 2 months ago, she had 120k followers, and then all of a sudden, I realized that she has 190k followers in 2 months. I realized no matter what, that in 2 months she built 70k followers. And how did she do that? I promise you that she probably never even done Instagram ads, and I promise you that she never even gave money for it. You understand? So I gave $500 and I got myself 229 followers. Why did I give $500? Because I'm just a person who loves to experiment and see how the world is. And I realized that people are just very, let's say, I promise you that people are just very negative, and they look at a beautiful woman and they just follow her. You understand? I promise you that no matter what, that I love beautiful women, although I only see beautiful women who go for me as beautiful. And that's it. I realized that no matter what, that the people who come my way only are the beautiful ones. I don't care about the ones that are on Instagram and posting beautiful photos of themselves, because they've never been in my life. I promise you they've never met me. I promise you they never went for me. I promise you they never talk with me. I don't know why I'd find them beautiful. I only find the woman beautiful in my life who kiss me, only. You understand? I never care about them. I used to be the guy who always wanted some other woman other than what I had. I always wanted something else than what I had. I was always lacking. I was always trying to find something different. And no matter what, now, I promise you today, I find something more better than different. I find something even greater. And it's really inside of me. I realize I look inside of me for it. I never look for a woman. I never look for a person. I never look for an opportunity out there. I never try to beg people for money. I never try to do anything for anybody. I never try to go to somebody because they're famous. You understand? I never give them money because they're famous. I don't care. I don't care, because I only give money to those who grow me and give me some ideas and inspire me. So you have to understand that I give money to grow, and I only do it in the best places. And marketing online and social media, I never give money for it anymore. I realized that Gary Vaynerchuk's way of saying that you must do paid advertising over a year and see how it works, I promise you that it never works. I promise you it never works, because the free way works. I promise you, in today's economy and what's going on around the world, I promise you that no matter what, you understand that many people are short on supply with their money, and that they can never even afford to do so. You understand? I was able to afford it. I'm still able to afford anything. Why? Because I have the habits, and I do free education now. I do free education because guess what? I realize that most people are people who believe they know everything. You understand? So you have to understand they're egotistical people. You have to understand they're surrounded by egotistical people. It's never their fault. And you have to understand that they're just people who have parents who never teach them anything. You understand? So we're in the digital age now, and you have to realize that you need to start performing, and you need to start really getting into in terms of your purpose. You have to understand your real purpose in life is something inside. You need to realize that moment of bliss that you can really experience, and just forget everything else and be a person who can really encourage yourself to get used to technology now, because social media is really important. And if you're your parents who are 60 years of age and they say they cannot use technology, and then you become like them at 60 because you're 30 now, you understand that since that happens, you'll never get ahead, because the industrial age, which is the age before internet, is a much more tougher way to live than today. Because today, at least we have internet and we can always get online, and we have phones. I mean, phones have been out only about 30 years now. You have to understand that internet's only been around for 30 years. I promise you, YouTube's been around for 17 years. I promise you, all the social medias you see have been around for 17 years. You understand? So be a person who can take advantage now, because in the future, I promise you that all these kids that are being born today are born in the information age. And now more and more entrepreneurs are going to be coming online, and are going to be doing podcasting and video work and quotes and books. And you have to understand that technology is really quickly evaluating and becoming stronger and stronger, and more people are adapting to this type of lifestyle now. And you have to understand that if you're not holding a journal, and if you're not a person who's really learning technology, I promise you, you're setting up for failure. So I need you to really look inside for it. I need you to understand that whatever you have right now is something you need to develop. I mean, you may start off with a little bit of wisdom. I promise you that little bit of wisdom can grow into a foundation of bliss. And I promise you that even a little bit of wisdom is bliss. And if you have some wisdom in you today, I promise you I promise you that you have some happiness. I promise you that those people who are really foundational are the ones who can really grow without even saying goodbye. You understand? So never say goodbye. I realize that when you say goodbye, you understand that those people who are really doing that are really going to achieve no success. You have to understand that you need to be a person saying hi all the time, in a way that you're always growing. You need to be growing. You need to be a person who's a foundational leader. You need to realize that you go and use metaphors and whatever you can in order for yourself to grow. You have to understand you need to write some ideas down. You need to keep a journal, because in my journal, I mean, it's a long book. I mean, it's an ebook. You have to understand that I write many ebooks every single day about journaling and about life and about everything that's going on. I never care about one topic and teaching one topic. I care about my journal and how am I going to get around the world. And I just do that. I do something like Anne Frank, who is born in the 1900s, and she, before the World War I, was writing in her journal. And when the World War I hit, I promise you, she was writing about her daily life and how she's going to do this, and she was explaining what was going on. And I do the same thing, and I promise you that is my ebook. I promise you that's what I just do. I just do that. I don't care about ebooks. I just care about my journal. I do my journal. I realize that I go write everything in terms of my value in there, and I write from what's inside. I write from inside the heart. I write something to help you. I write something to help myself. I realize that is the point of living. I realize the point of living is just be yourself and be in the moment and be a person who's really going to succeed and be on top of your life. I mean, be on top of your life and what you're doing, and make sure no matter what that you're always never losing your soul. I mean, you're never losing your thoughts, because guess what? Your thoughts can never be lost, although you have to understand that you have to keep moving on in a speech, you have to keep moving on in your communication, you have to keep throwing those ideas out there, because that's what you're doing in life. You're giving people ideas, you're educating yourself, you're doing it in a new manner each and every time. You have to understand that you never complain. I had some soy milk earlier. I realized no matter what, that my soy milk gives me energy. I'm always high on energy. I'm always looking good. And today I have the 1 hour rule. I have the 1 hour rule, and what's my 1 hour rule? I promise you that I made it yesterday at 11 p.m. before I even fell asleep. I said I'll have the 1 hour rule on this day. And here I am now. I never have to go outside for 23 hours, because I can just stay in my room and I can just be inside. You understand? I just be inside, because out there it's cold, and out there I don't know anybody. I realized that I can just go to the shop and get some food. I come back inside, I'm much happier than chasing women out there. You understand? I don't care about them. I have nothing to chase out there. I mean, I see full of people over there. I see them walking around. I realize that they're walking around people, although they don't give a fuck about each other. You understand? I realize they're walking together, although they just, as soon as you give them something for free or you offer them free love, I promise you they say fuck off. I promise you they say that to everybody. You understand? So you just go your way and you realize that they're never worth it. I promise you, when somebody doesn't want to receive your free love, and when somebody doesn't want to help you grow, I promise you that you move on and you be a student of somebody else who can grow you. And that's the whole point of life. Be a student. I promise you, be a student, and that way you can grow and you can do something foundational. I realized that I'm always a student. I'm always doing something that's going to help me, and veganism is one of them that really gives me the energy I need, and it helps my insides, and I stay off the alcohol, I stay off the drugs, I stay away from people, I stay away from the cigarettes, and that way I have more money. I also never get criticized as much anymore because I'm away from the crowd. I realized they never reply to me. I realized they never call me, so I never care about their replies. I never care about who they are. I don't care because I never know those people. I don't even know myself. I'm always growing. I'm always using my skills to grow more and more and more so that I can know myself more, or that I don't know myself because I still have to grow. You understand? So it's all about a positive attitude. You have to understand a positive attitude is going to get you there, and those people who have a better inner world also have a better circumstance. So guys, I've been able to travel for 1 year and 7 months now. 1 year and 2 weeks now. And because of that, I've been a person who's really, let's say, foundational, and I'm still a person who is much better than yesterday. I'm always doing better than yesterday. I'm always realizing that no matter what, I'm traveling forever now. I have time freedom forever. And it's really because of the habits I have. I realize it's because of the disciplines I've gave myself. And that's everything. I realize that there's a quote going around that if they don't love you, just make yourself happiest. And I just do that now. I'm rich or better. You have to realize that when you're making yourself happiest, you're going to be a person who's really foundational. You're going to be a person who's really, let's say, communicative, and you're going to be able to connect with people. Although you have to understand that you only have so much time in your day, so give yourself more of that time and do something productive with it, and make sure that you're always doing something related to business. Make sure you're always throwing out information there and out there, and make sure that no matter what, you're a person who's really foundational with it, and be able to use it and be able to have key attributes from it. Make sure that you apply your information each and every day. Make sure that you set a goal to do 3-hour videos every single day. Do it 3 topics. You have 3 topics and you do it for 1 hour each, and make sure that is your schedule throughout your life. And you have to understand that's something that you have to do. I promise you that my mentors are doing it for up to 3 hours. You have to understand some mentors are doing it for 1 hour. Some other ones are doing it for 20 minutes each. You have to understand that no matter what, you go and do what works for you. I promise you that 3 hours a day works for me. Because why? I succeed more when I give you more. I give you more and I build a better legacy. I realize that I'm here for the long run. I realize that I'm always looking for the long term in everything. I'm always a person who is looking for more ideas in terms of growth and how can I grow myself, and I'm always around better people. So there's always a better person out there who can grow you. You have to understand that no matter what, it's Jesus Christ. You have to understand that it's always that person who I go for and I seek him out, and I always make sure that I can live up to his potential and what he set out for me. You have to understand that those people who can really follow something bigger than themselves and make sure that no matter what, they can drop their ego, can always live a better life. You have to be that type of person. You have to be a person who can really switch the conversation from one way to another way. I spoke to 2 women today downstairs. I realized they're very, let's say, egotistical, and I had no interest in them because at first they look at me and they're interested, and then I talk with them and then they just go negative, and I don't like those people. I have nothing against them. I'm not a hater, although I just stay away from them. You understand? I'm rich or better. I stay away from them because you understand that those people who never like you, never deserve you. So you have to understand that people swap and people change their thoughts really quickly, and people are really either dying or growing, and you have to be around the ones who are growing, because those are the people who are upbeat, and they are the people who are enthusiastic and confident and charismatic and courageous, and you'll pick up those attitudes more and more when you're around better people. So I promise you that there's always a better person out there who can really help you in some type of way. So no matter what, make sure that you realize that the best person in your life must be something greater, and just be a person who treats everybody equally. Be a person who's really, let's say, foundational in growing and learn the skills that you need. And how do you do that? You have to understand you can read books, you have business books, you have spiritual books, you have Osho, you have Eckhart Tolle, you have Tony Robbins, you have Grant Cardone. You have to understand you have sales, you have marketing, you have personal growth, you have positivity work, you have success work. You have to dig in, and I promise you that you never ever leave nutrition out of it, because nutrition is a big part of living and living longer. So those people who can turn vegan have set themselves up, I promise you, they've set themselves up to have high energy levels throughout their life and a happier feel throughout life. You may live 7 years longer being a vegan, although you have more energy for 80 years than those who eat meat. So you have more happiness throughout time, and you also increase your lifespan. You have to understand that for myself, I live as I go along, and I make sure no matter what, I'm growing as I go along. I do everything as I go along. I realize that you guys can understand that I do videos in hostels, I do videos anywhere I can. I do them on the go, I do them on the way somewhere, I do them at the airport, for example, I do them at the toilets. You understand? Because I'm desperate for success. You understand? I have to succeed more and more. I have nowhere else to do it. Otherwise, no matter what, I only do it in the moment. Although you understand that no matter what happens, that you be a better person. You have to although understand that you must be someone who can really, let's say, be foundational in what you're doing. So be a person who's a doer and be a person who's upbeat about it. You need to always look at yourself in a way that you can grow, and that way you're going to be more positive. I realize that when poker comes into your mind, and you have to understand that you just let it go and you never gamble. You never have to gamble, you never have to be a poker player, you never have to be a gambler, you never have to rely on the jackpot and the scratchy. You never have to be a person who relies on the dogs and on the horses to win money. You understand? Because it's not about winning money, you have to understand it's about growing yourself, and the money will come along. You need to understand that those people who can really grow are the ones who can give ideas, and you give more ideas, and you just repeat everything you're doing in a different way all the time. And that way you're going to really give people motivation, you're going to give them courage, you're going to give them inspiration, and you have to keep consistent. I today had this nice beautiful person come up to me and said, "You have to keep going, bro, you're very beautiful with what you're doing." I thank you very much. I mean, it's a nice beautiful compliment when someone says that I'm watching you and you're very inspirational. I thank you very much. You understand? So no matter what, that you go and inspire those people, because guess what, I prevented someone from killing themselves. You understand? So be a person who just stands up for your face. I mean, go brand your face everywhere, because those people who can show their face are the ones who are going to lead. And no matter what, when you're doing it for 20 years and 30 years and you're in front of the camera for that long, and then you go in front of people and you're doing it for 30 years, I promise you it gets easier and easier. So I promise you, the more you grow, I promise you, the more everything works out for you. You understand? So be a person who's always setting yourself up for success, and never be around drug addicts, and never be around people who tell you what to do, because I realize that nobody likes being told what to do. And be a person who realizes that you're always never that person shopping for the week. You understand? I mean, go and shop for the day. I mean, just shop for just shop for today. I mean, learn what you're really learning in terms of nutrition. You understand? So, I mean, when you go to the shop and you go to the supermarket, where the food supermarket is, and you get your food, you get it for one day. And then what you do is, on that day, you may get a certain criteria of food. I mean, go and study those food. I mean, study the food before you even get it. And then once you get it, I mean, learn how to cook it. And also make sure no matter what, when you're cooking for yourself, you're going to lose more weight anyway. So you're learning about what you're eating every single day. And then shop another day at a time. I promise you that when you shop for 2 weeks in a row, I mean, you go to the shop, you buy 2 weeks worth of food. I mean, you just stated that you have to stay in you just stated that you have to stay 2 weeks in that area, because you have to finish your food now. Understand? So when I shop for 1 day at a time, I mean, I can leave tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow never comes, although tomorrow is this moment. You understand? So I'm only shopping for 1 day at a time. And now, say the next day comes in this moment, and guess what? I mean, a 24-hour cycle passes, and here I am. I mean, let me go and see Darwin flights now. I mean, I have a booking for 10 p.m. at night. I can go to Darwin at 10 p.m. at night. I realized that I never even shop for 2 weeks of food. I mean, I just shop for what I have. I can just go to the store, get some peanuts and tofu, and just get on the plane. You understand? Because I only shop for 1 day. I never shop for 2 weeks. I mean, I can just go to Darwin now because I never have to eat 2 weeks worth of food. You understand? So be a person who realizes that. I realize that other people are doing, in terms of life, I promise you, they're making events 3 months ahead of time, and they're saying they're going to be in this spot. They're going to be in this spot 3 months ahead of time. And because you're in this spot 3 months ahead of time, I mean, they're waiting for that moment. I mean, they're waiting and they're sitting in one area for that moment. I mean, why are you creating events ahead of time where you have to be in that area to wait for that? I mean, you never wait for anything. You never wait for an event to happen. You just go and create it yourself. You go and create it now. You go do something that's really going to help someone now. And that way you're going to realize that there's always a better way. There's always something more to say. There's always something more to do. You have talent and abilities inside of you. You just have to look inside. You have to look inside. You have to look inward. You have to be a person who's really foundational in what you're saying, and you have to realize that you keep it going. You keep it rolling. You keep your mindset growing. You understand? You need to be a person who's really foundational in what you're doing. So be a person who's really looking for the ideas every single day, and you're looking inside for it. You're being a person who's solving your own problems. You're solving the criteria of the world, and you're never a person who has problems. You're never a person who dwells in other people. I mean, never dwell in other people. I mean, never chase them. I mean, never talk to them. I mean, talk to something bigger than yourself. You understand? I mean, let people talk to you. I mean, let them come to you, and that way you're going to understand that you have more time for yourself. I mean, when you're chasing them, I promise you that they don't love you. I promise you, when they're chasing you, I promise you they're giving you all the love. You understand? So be a person who realizes that. I realize that when you're giving money towards someone and you give them $1 million, I promise you they'll never appreciate you, because they'll leave and they'll never contact you again. I mean, they may contact you once or twice in the whole year. You understand? I mean, where is the love? I mean, you have to understand that you let them come to you and you just give them the wisdom, and that's it. You just move on with your life, because many people are going to come into your life and they're going to reject you, and they're going to call you a nobody, and they're going to say, you must follow me. I mean, who are they to follow? I mean, who are they for you to follow you? I mean, you have to follow you, although who are they for you to follow them? Understand? Because there may be negative people who are telling you to follow them. In a sense, so why would you follow negative people who are unvaluable and invaluable and have nothing to give you? In a sense, you go to the ones who've got something to show you. You understand? I mean, they show you some magic tricks, and you go to those people. You understand? Because when you go to a person who's just dead and they've got nothing to give you, I mean, they're looking in your face. What are you doing today, bro? I mean, they're so boring, those people. I mean, I used to be that type of person where I would ask people, what are you doing today? I didn't care about them. You understand? Because I never asked those questions anymore. I realized that with my biological dad, that he's a person who is only world circumstance and outside of him. I mean, when you're talking about world circumstances and what's going on outside of you, you're going to be a person who's really boring. You're going to be a boring person, because outside of you, I promise you there's nothing happening outside. I promise you there's nothing happening in the world's news today. Understand? Because all that's happening is drama and negativity. And why do you need that? Understand? I promise you that you go and say your achievements, what you achieved today. You could say to your biological dad or mom, you achieved a 1-hour video on this how-to series. You can go and watch it. I promise you, if they never watch it, I promise you they never really love you. You understand? You have to understand that those people who really love you are the ones who are your student, are much better. I mean, when your biological mom or dad is saying that they'll never learn from you and that they're never your student in life and they never care to understand what you have to teach, I promise you that is the worst way that you can speak to your children, and it's the most negative way to lift anyone up. Understand? I mean, be a person who can really be interested in life. I mean, be interested in everybody, although stay away from negativity. Understand? I mean, be interested in negativity and learn from it. Understand? I mean, learn from negativity. I mean, go and see what the negative people are doing and learn from what they're doing. Understand? So you never do it. And that way you never have to be around it. I mean, be open-minded and never be a person who's never investing in people, because people are going to always give you some information. I mean, when you seek out information for free, you'll find it. And those people who are giving information, I promise you, it may be positive or negative. Although go to where the positive information is. And that way you're going to be a better person over time. You're going to do something far more great than those people who never do videos and never do audios and never do writing materials. You have to be a person who's really foundational in that. You have to be a person who's really never a hypocrite, although you're writing more and you're a person who's really digging into yourself and you're realizing that there is a better world inside of you than what's out there. And only people who vibe really good and who have something to say are the ones who are looking inside. I mean, the ones who are looking inside are the ones who have something to say, and those people who are looking outside have nothing to say anymore. I mean, there's always people who say nothing much is happening in their life. I mean, when you ask me, I promise you there's always something happening in my life. I'm always doing something. I'm always finding something to do. I mean, there's always something to do for me that's going to grow me. I promise you those people who never know how to grow, I promise you those people are stuck to the television sets and they're letting people ruin them. They're letting people ruin them in a way that they're getting kicked down and they're never doing anything about it. They're just on defense. Understand? I promise you, they're just sitting in front of the television watching horses, and they're watching Foxtel, and they're watching Netflix, and they're watching cinema movies, and they're going to have fun on the weekends, and they're just on defense. And then guess what? I promise you, the weekday comes, and the government says you must go work to 9 to 5 now in order for you to make your life. And then guess what? They're working miserable jobs, and because they're working miserable jobs, guess what happens? I promise you, they get more negative, and they start to really reciprocate that they have to live for the weekends, and then they go to, I promise you, they go to live for the weekends and then doing drugs on the weekends. You understand? And then they get fired from the job because they never arrived on time. And then guess what happens? I promise you, they're 2 weeks without a job, and I promise you, they repeat the cycle. You understand? And it's never the way to go. You have to understand that the 9 to 5 job is never for you anyway, and you need to find something today to do for free, because guess what? I never charge for my work. And why is that? Because I realized that people just never care. You understand? And I realized that they'll never even give me $1 because I never care. I never do it for money. I mean, I'm losing nothing. I've lost nothing by giving you this information. I'm only growing myself. And you have to understand that I just have a passion for it. And you have to understand that's the only way that you're ever going to make a life for yourself. I mean, you go and educate people for free, and you go and teach people for free, and you never ever make money on it. Understand? I promise you that you never expect to make money when you educate, although you understand that when you make more wisdom videos, you've actually made more money in the process because you've grew yourself in the video. I promise you that only growing is the money making. Understand? So when you're increasing your skills, as Dream Rohn says, you're the person who's a teacher. You're the person who's doing something. You have a philosophy and you teach it, and you stick by it, and you are it, and you're doing better than this, and you're growing something, and you're growing yourself, and you're lifting people. I promise you that's the way to be all your life. So be a person of that caliber. Be a person of that caliber. Be a person of that caliber. Be a person who can really put your eye in the action. Put your eye in every single word, and put your you in every single word, and use the questions. And you'll realize that is the only way to really be in life. You have to really pronounce yourself much better. You have to be precise about what you're saying in a better way. I promise you that you never have to be correct, although you have to be more correct in a way that you're growing only. I promise you, you're never right or wrong. You never be right and wrong, and you never be on the point exact about what you're saying. You understand? Because you have to know nothing. I need you to repeat, I know nothing, I know nothing, I know nothing, I know nothing. You understand? Because when you're a person who knows nothing in life, you're going to be a person who's really growing. You're going to be a person who's really, let's say, foundational, and you're going to always leave room for improvement. And that's the whole point, because as soon as you know, I promise you that you know, I promise you I never know. I'm not egotistical. I'm a person who's always never knowing anything. I don't know what I say in this video because I still have to learn what I said. Understand? I'll say it in a different way this time. And when I say in a different way, I'm growing, and I'm growing. Understand? Because those people who can grow can really talk, and they can lead, and they can do something special. And the specialness is in the growth. And when they're giving growth, I promise you they're giving free love. And those are the type of people that are going to really succeed, because I'm succeeding and many people will never see it. I never care, I see it. I never care. They're never fooling me. I promise you that when I asked for money before, I realized I never got it, even though I've got results. I've got results in weight loss. I never got money from anybody. And I never care, because guess what? Those people are still fat. I never care. I never care. Go ugly. You understand? And for me, I go beautiful. In life, I go beautiful because I deserve a better life, and I have results. When they say, where's your results? I have results over here. When they ask me how many people have you helped lose weight, I just help myself. I help myself, and I am all the results I need in life. You understand? So no matter what, I'm always looking for more results. I'm always doing better than myself, and I never need their proof anymore. I never need to go and help people to lose weight. I never need to go and do anything for them, because I already made a PDF that states how to lose weight, and you just go and read it. Understand? And I help people that way. I never have to coach them. I never have to be with them 8 hours every single day motivating them to lose weight. That's a waste of time. Yes, now I'd rather be with myself growing than growing with them. Understand? Because I'm more important. I'd rather help myself than help them. And that way, you understand that when you help others and you never help yourself, I promise you they kick you down. I promise you they never care about you. I promise you that when you're a person who's lifting yourself and others, I promise you that when they try to kick you down, I promise you they never kick you down. You're helping yourself get up. understand? Because that's what a leader does. I promise you, a leader is a person who's lifting yourself and others. I promise you that people who are cheap and who are broke, and people who do nothing all day, and people who do nothing for something are the ones who are kicking you down, and they're never growing themselves. I promise you, they're never growing anybody. They're just wasting time and having fun. And those are the fake people. I grew up around them. I grew up around many of them around soccer. I was playing under 8s and under 9s and under 10s and under 11s for White City soccer team here in Sydney. I realised here in Sydney. And because I did that, I realised that no matter what, I had a host of team members and everything, and I realised that people go their separate ways, and you understand that it's a way of life, and you just never go backwards. You understand that no matter what, that you go and teach much better. You be a person who's really encouraging others to grow, and you realise that you're never stuck on words. You never be stuck on words, and for you to never be able to stuck, for you to never be able to be stuck on words, you have to write more. You have to be doing something in order to have something greater. So you have to do something for something greater in order for yourself to really get out there in terms of going inside, and that way you can find anything that you need and you can solve it, and you can be a person who's a solutionist. You can be a person who's giving some you're giving some ideas, you're giving something that's really going to help someone to succeed. You're looking inside for it. You're being a person who really can schedule something in a better way. You're loving life, and you're really dealing with life in a much better way. You're really cruising in a way that nothing's affecting you, and no people are affecting you, and nobody can affect you, because you're very unshakable. And as Bruce Lee said, you have to be water. And because when you're water, I promise you that you can go over the hills, and you can hit the rocks, and you can hit the water, and I promise you the water will never feel pain, and the water will never feel suffering, although pain is really your greatest asset. So it's really uncomfortable feelings. So you have to be more uncomfortable in order to grow. Although suffering is something that is internal, and when you're suffering, it's because you're putting something inside of you that's going to make you suffer, such as poisons. And poisons are such toxic behaviors and substances such as alcohol, drinking and alcohol. And there's also drugs like cigarettes, and there's also drugs like any type of legal or illegal drugs or pharmaceutical medication. And when you rely on 20 pills a day, and you wake up and the doctor says you have to take all these 20 pills a day for you to live life, I promise you that you are just kicked down. You're a person who's kicked down, because my biological dad has to wake up and take all these pills because the doctor said he's going to have a heart attack. I promise you he believes the doctor more than me. And I say to him, you never need the medication. I promise you never need it. And he says, you're going to tell me how to live? I don't know how you live, man. I don't care anymore. I don't care. My biological dad may have a heart attack. I promise you I don't care, because the guy never needs to listen to me, and he never needs to be a student of my intention. So I promise you he'd rather listen to a doctor who has a certificate or something, who's saying that he's going to have a heart attack, than me saying that you'll never have a heart attack. You understand? So I realized that he's more into the negativity, and people saying that someone's going to kill you, and he'll believe it, and he will love that over than me saying that I'll never kill you. You understand? And I promise you'll be negative about that. You have to understand that you just go and be a positive person. Although I'll never kill you, I realize that no matter what, just be a person who can really develop. Be a more mature person. I realize that I've changed over the years, and I've become younger. I've become much greater. I've become more of a man. I've become more of a man in my own integrity. I'm a person who's really on top of my habits now. I realize I never get any pleasure in life. I have no pleasures except for the food and drink I eat and drink. And I realize that my pleasures now are growth experiences, and really leading and doing something for fun that's really going to grow me. I realize I never watch festivals or music production in terms of other people DJing, and I never watch nightclub festivals and all of that anymore. So why? Because I'm more into mentors and information products that are really going to help my business to grow. And what really helps my business to grow is either spirituality and anything to do with the outside world and the inside world, and the yin-yang theories and the Taoism and the Buddhism and Jesus Christ and religion. I'll go and study up on it, because it's a nice cultural and traditional way for you to grow, and also it's going to help you to lead inside, and that way you're going to find a way, and the way is happiness. You have to understand that happiness is the way, as Dr. Wayne Dyer says. You have to understand that those people who find the way are going to really, let's say, be foundational. Although you have to understand that when you're increasing your happiness, you're going to find yourself in the way of growth, and you have to find better words to say it, and you have to understand that there's always a better way to say anything. You have to understand there's always something that you can really elaborate on. You need to be that type of person who's always got something to speak about. I mean, when a kid sits in front of you and you're speaking for 1 hour with the kid in this tone, probably the kid's going to go, I promise you, kid, that you have to grow. You have to be a person who's really growing yourself. You have to be a baby all your life. You understand? So no matter what, you just go and grow yourself. And I'm always a baby. I'm always staying younger. I'm always a person who is more in terms of life. And you have to understand that when you're sleeping, you sleep enough. You sleep really peacefully, and you get away from people. And when you're traveling around hostels and around people, what you're really aiming to do is go and get yourself a 1-bedroom apartment. And I have one here in Brisbane for $28 a night. And why is that? Because no matter what, I found one hostel where I can afford it, and it's a nice, beautiful place for me to live. And it's really just for the moment, because I have to go to Darwin anyway, and over there it's $25. So you have to understand that no matter what, I'm getting richer, and I'm always finding new ways to deal with life, and I'm always looking for better deals. You have to understand that numbers is going to support you when you are supporting your health. You have to understand your health is number one, and those people who have better health are going to have the better vibes inside. I promise you, they're going to be looking inside for better deals and better referencing and better communication signals, and how to increase their tonality and also their communication skills and their spirituality and their muscles and their health, and they're going to teach it. I promise you that it's more than enough for you to teach how to do everything rather than anything else, because you have to understand that once you teach it, you're doing it. I promise you that when people are in the gym and they're doing videos of themselves gymming, I don't fucking care about that. I mean, I care about the knowledge behind that. You understand? I don't care what you're doing. I mean, you have to understand that it's really the knowledge that's going to help you. I realize that when you're watching a man pump the iron for 5 hours, I promise you that person's teaching you nothing, although they're just pumping the iron. You understand? I mean, you've got nothing to watch there. I mean, what are they doing? I mean, when they're teaching you something about that, I promise you that's something that you can listen to, and it's going to add some value. Although many people waste your time, and never be that person who's wasting people's time. You have to be that person who's really adding time to everyone, because when you're adding time, you're going to add time to yourself. And there's really no, I promise you, there's no shortcuts. And anytime, for example, I go in my phone, I go into my phone, I realize that I have to type my full name. I have Danny, I have to write D-A-N-Y, and then I have to write a full stop. I have to write M-I-L-I-V-O-J-N-V. I promise you I have to never envy. I'm never envy. I have to say M-I-L-I-V-O-J-E-V-I-C. It's my last name, and then at gmail.com. I promise you, although I have a shortcut where I can just press I can press a number. I can press something to just put out the email really quickly. I realize that I rather write it myself. Why? Because it really helps me to become less angry, and I really train myself to write more than do shortcuts on the phone. So instead of me using any quick messaging numbers or anything that's gonna give me a quick roll call, I realize that I really go into the phone and I write it all myself. I mean, when I fill in my details, I fill it in again and again and again. I do it from the beginning. I write all the letters. I write all the letters. I type every single word, and I make sure to correct my words. And each time I correct my words, I get better with my words. I also make sure that in Instagram now, I do reply in a quick manner, although it's much more effective for me to do so because it's a long message. I realize it's a long message and it's written one way, so I rather realize that no matter what, I just rather do that one, because although I'm still growing and I realize that it can work, although sometimes when you're a person who needs to train your mind, you have to understand that going the long way is much better. I realize that it's much better to do so, to write all the words together and you're writing it each and every time, because that's going to train your mindset to develop and also to be more disciplined rather than always doing shortcuts. You understand? So be a person who realizes that in this moment where I use this quick reply in terms of Instagram, I just press one letter and this whole bunch of words comes up, because I exactly need to say something specifically there. Although you never do it specifically. You have to understand that it's never about being specific about what you need people to see. You have to understand it's more about letting them understand a much better way where you can understand that you can have more time freedom to never write those messages ever again. And it's much more time freedom to do so in terms of that aspect of life. Although you understand that those people who can go into the phone and do it the long way, I promise you those people are going to be I promise you they're going to be far more successful than the ones who are always doing anything quickly in terms of quick replies and all of that. You have to understand that it's really never a contradiction, although you have to understand it is in a way. And you have to understand it's really that you just understand that you go belly at time. So with my Instagram techniques, I understand that it's really helping me to really develop and do something different, because I task shift and I write a quick reply, although I get into my phone and I write some more value, and that way I'm still growing. I realize that I never have to waste 2 minutes of my time going into Instagram to write the same message. So you do that, although at times I do get into my phone and I do just write it the long way, and that way I'm always encouraging myself to do that. I realize that I'm always encouraging myself to do that. And when I walk, for example, at the traffic lights, I realize I can do a shortcut. I realize I go the long way. I realized that when I was playing soccer around 13 years of age, I was always the one going and doing the shortcuts. I was doing the shortcuts at first because everybody else was doing it, and then I started to go around the corner. You understand? Because I promise you, when you go around the corner, you're never doing a shortcut. I started to do shortcuts first because everybody else was doing it, and then I started to really realize now that in the long term there is no shortcuts. I mean, there's no get rich quick. I promise you that there is I promise you that there is no get rich quick schemes, or there is. You have to understand that in types of dealings, you have to understand that in some aspects of life, there's no get rich quick schemes. Although the get rich quick scheme that I have is that you write more and more. I promise you that you can now, today, for example, when you're a smoker, you can quit smoking today and you'll get rich quick. You understand? And it's really that easy to get rich quick. I promise you just quit smoking and you'll boost your capital, which is money, by $7,000 every single year. I mean, you've already saved $210,000 every single 30 years. So, I mean, in that aspect of life, I promise you there's get rich quick. Although when you're trying to get rich in terms of money sequence, and you're trying to make money with money and get rich quick like that, I promise you it never works. I promise you you never get rich with money that makes money, because money never makes money. You understand? I promise you that it never makes money, because you understand that those people who make money are the ones who have skills, and the real skills that you need to make is never the money itself. You have to realize that it's really the skills you have. You have to understand it's really that you're growing your wisdom, and when you're growing your wisdom, you're educating people more and more, and then you're building this massive database of your knowledge and skills, and you're giving it to others, and you're giving it for free, and that's going to build the necessary disciplines and health and techniques and your integrity and being honest and your attitude, which is all the money in the world. I promise you that's what money can never buy. I promise you money can never buy you a better attitude. I promise you money can never buy you doing an action. I promise you that money can never force you to do anything. I promise you money can never grow you alone. So what people are doing is they're trading today, and they're trading in the stock market, and they say, you must give me $1,000 and I will make sure to go into my trader, and I'll put inside my trader this certain program where I'll make $50 for you, and all you have to do is copy me. I promise you that you never copy anybody. You understand? And you never trade in the first place. You understand? Because those people who are saying for you to copy them to make money, I promise you that's a cheap way to make money. I promise you that it never even grows you. I promise you they're saying you must have a laptop. I promise you that you have to go and get your laptop now. You have to give $1,000, and then you have to go and give them $1,000, and then they're going to make you $50 every single week, and they're going to give you $100, and then I promise you they're going to start making you some money. Although guess what? You're just copying them. I mean, they're not teaching you anything. You understand? I mean, they promise you that they're going to teach you all of that, and then guess what? You go and you trade in the stock market and you'll lose, because sometimes the stock market will go down and you'll make an error, and guess what happens? You've lost 20 grand. What will you do then? You've lost 20 grand. I mean, 20 grand you've worked for 1 year. What are you going to do? I mean, 1 year of your up and down climb in the stock market has just fallen in 1 second. You understand? So never take a risk, because trading alone is a risk. And I promise you there's a risk involved, and you never risk your money for anything. I mean, you never go to poker unless you're giving money to play poker and you understand you're going to lose it, and you understand you're just going to have fun, and you go there just to have fun, and you understand you're going to lose, I promise you then you give it, although you understand that you never just have fun in the process. I promise you I never need you to play poker in the first place. I never need you to go there, because you have to understand that having just fun in the process, you're losing more than money. You're losing more than money when you're just going for fun. I promise you, when you go to a 2-hour poker game or a 4-hour poker game, I promise you in that time you could have done a 3-hour coaching video, and you could have taught something yourself, and you could have helped someone. So when you're just going out clubbing just so you can have fun, and you're going to poker just because you have fun, and you're gambling because you just need to have fun, I promise you the more fun you have, I promise you the life's stepping on you. I promise you over time, life is going to say, hey, where's your money? I mean, what are you doing now? Because you have to go to a 9-to-5 job. I mean, your fun's over. I promise you that life is going to say that. And in order for you to never be a person who's working around a 9-to-5 job, I mean, cut out the fun and never have fun. I mean, there's no such thing as fun anymore, because what fun is to many people is minor aspects of life. And as Tony Robbins said, that many people are majoring in minor aspects of life. You understand? So never be a person who's majoring in minor things, as Tony Robbins says. You understand that those people who are doing that are having fun, and they're having sex all day, and guess what they've done all day? I mean, they just had sex. I mean, that never helped you. I mean, you have to understand that when you're just having sex all your life, I promise you soon the bills are going to I promise you that you may have bills. I never had bills. I never had bills, although you may be a person who has bills. And I promise you those bills are going to rack up. I promise you the car is going to rust, and you're going to get service, and you have to get some money to get the service, and you have to go to appointments, and people are going to start calling you out, and you have to go there, and you have to go to a 9-to-5 job. And people are going to start dragging you away from your wife and your husband and from your kids too. And guess what? You then have no time. You have no time freedom. You have no fun anymore. I mean, you have fun. I mean, you then are one of those people who goes to work, and you come back, and then you go to boom, boom, boom with your wife or husband. And then what do you do then? I mean, you watch TV. You go for a movie after the boom, boom, boom. What do you do then? You teach your kids how to boom, boom, boom. What do you do? You play the PlayStation with your wife? You have a business in life? You have to understand that no matter what, you got to wake up to yourself. You understand? Because it's never about the boom, boom, boom all day long. You understand? You have to understand it's about more growth. You have to grow. You have to grow. You have to teach people. I promise you, when it's just about your wife and you and fuck the world, I promise you that the world will fuck you. You understand? I promise you everybody outside will start fucking you in life. I promise you I promise they'll start stepping on you because you don't care about them. I promise you that when you're a person who's really growing people, I promise you that way you're going to really lift people, and you're going to lift yourself and your wife and your kids, and you're going to be doing the boom, boom, boom everywhere while you're lifting people. And you're going to understand that when you're having sex all day, you understand, you are never productive. You're never doing anything productive. I promise you sex is never productive, because sex, and the meaning of sex is just to have sex, to have kids. You only have sex to have kids. You never have sex to fuck around all day long. You understand? I promise you that those people who just fuck around, I promise you that in 10 years' time, I promise you they get kicked. I promise you they kick. I promise you that many people are kicking them down. I promise you many people are just miserable doing that. I promise you they're going from woman to woman, and they're going from man to man, and they're having threesomes and orgies. And guess what? They're doing nothing, and they have no money, and they have no life, and they have no celebrity status, and they have nothing, and they teach nothing. And they have a 9-to-5 job, and they're miserable, and they're drinking alcohol, and living for the weekend, and they're toxic inside, and they're very perverted, and they're very ugly people. And then when you go on the street towards these people and you give them free love, they say fuck off. You understand? They say fuck off, and you understand that you never go on the streets and do that anymore, because I have done it, and it's never really anything beautiful. I promise you that where you go to give people something and they reject you, I promise you that you never go there again, because you never deserve to be rejected by other people. You understand? I promise you that you go and avoid rejection. I promise you go and avoid rejection as much as you can, because that's the way. I promise you that you let people come to you. You never go to people to give them service. You let them come to you to ask you for service. You understand? And that's the only best selling point, guys. And the best way to do that is to go inside for it. promise you never go towards people to give them a free business card so you can inspire them while they spit in your face. I was giving money towards paid advertising. I mean paid advertising. I never do paid advertising anymore, and I never call it paid advertising. I call it investing money into advertising. I'm an investor because I'm an investor, and no matter what, you have to understand that an investor is always going to be more conscious about what they're doing because they never spend money. I promise you they never waste money. I promise you they're only investing it in conscious places that's going to grow. And when I was investing in these people, I promise you 200,000 of them, I promise you 180,000 of them like my photo only, and they never click on my profile. You understand? You have to understand. Then I promise you, no matter what, along those lines, that about 80,000 of them do click on my profile from the 200,000. You understand? I promise you 180,000 of them are liking my photo only. I promise you the rest of them never even came to my profile. And then from the 80,000 that clicked on my profile, I get 200 followers. I get 200 followers from the 500 bucks I gave. You have to understand that no matter what, and guess what? I get 60 comments that are negative. I get hate. I get people who are in India just like blurting out all this negative stuff about me, and I don't care. You have to understand that I advertise to India because I need to inspire those people. I need to inspire everybody. Although I never blame those people because you have to understand that everybody has an ego. You have to understand that my ego is no more. I never have an ego anymore because I'm always on top of it. You have to be on top of your ego. You have to understand that in life, most people have egos and they're going to be negative. And I understand that those people who are negative, probably that don't know what they do, as Jesus says. I never judge them. Although I understand they're writing to me I promise you they're writing to me in all these fashions and all that, and I just let them go. I never even reply. You understand? Because guess what? Do I deserve that? I gave money so that they can see my profile and so that I can inspire them, and they never appreciate that. I didn't care then. I mean, wherever you get hate, I mean, guess what? I mean, never reply to it. I mean, stay away from it. You understand? So in life, guess what? The only way you can go up, the only way that you can go up is to realize that be your own person and go up. You understand? The only way that you can live life is go up and be a person who can really sense that for yourself and realize that you're doing it for something grander in life. I never do anything of this nature, and I never live in the world for myself. I live for something greater. I live to the day of exuberance, and I'm always living that now. And I realize that it's only in this moment that you can capture all your dreams and visions, and that way you can take action in the moment and you can give some ideas. You can realize that those people in the past are never important because guess what? They're never going to follow you around. I promise you there are people in your life right now who are in your community. I promise you they're never even contacting you. I promise you they've seen you 100 times and they never contact you. Why? Why? I promise you that they are never interested in you. I promise you they never found you as a friend. I promise you they never found you attractive, and I promise you they never find you inspiring either. I promise you that most of the people around you right now, I promise you 99% of them never even find you inspiring. I promise you if you're the 1% of them who doesn't find you inspiring, then you have a problem. I promise you then you start doing something to inspire yourself daily. And I realize that I'm the 1% of the world who finds me inspiring, and that's all I ever need. I just need something more, and I always have more because I look up. I always look up for answers. I look inside, and looking inside is looking up. You understand? Because looking down is looking at the outside world and what are they doing, and you're a person who's kicking them down when you're looking outside. You never look out there because out there there's nothing. I promise you that when you're looking out there, I promise you they start to condition you in a negative way, and they're lying to you. In a sense, so never be a person who's conditioned by the outside world, and be a person who can really give the ideas and give it naturally, and be a person who can really speak it out. Speak it out and speak it out in a better way. Be a person who can really find the necessary skill that you have and teach it faster and faster and faster, and be a faster communicator throughout time, because it's really going to be an asset in your class. You understand? I promise you that communication is an asset class where you can always make money about that. You understand? You can make money growing, you can never make money by dying, and you can never make money having fun. You understand? I promise you that fun is a losing game, and those people who compete are the losers. I promise you that sports people who compete with others, I promise you they lose. I promise you that people who play sports and compete with others lose. I promise you that no matter what you see, for example, poker players, I promise you they lose. I promise you gamblers who gamble with money and try to win money with money, I promise you they lose. Because money never makes money. You understand? I promise you the people who are relying on a Bitcoin machine to make them Bitcoin, I promise you those people are hopeless because they got nothing else to do. You understand? And I promise you that those people who go and put $10,000 in the one Bitcoin and they wait for the Bitcoin to rise to 100,000 because in 20 years time it could be, you understand? And by the time it rises to $100,000, you may have $100,000 although you waited for it for 20 years. And what's the whole point of that? I mean, you could have used that $10,000 and traveled the world. I mean, you could have done that $10,000 in terms of you could have traveled to New Zealand and seen New Zealand with that money. You understand? I mean, you could have had a nice time for yourself. I mean, why would you put in the stock market? You just lose it. I mean, those people who have more money are saying for you to go and put into gold and silver and into food and drink. And all I say is go and put it into yourself and make something of it. I mean, if you have if you have $1 trillion, I mean, go and make something from that. I mean, go and invest all that money into something. I mean, go and make it work for you. I mean, go and build this nice, beautiful event around the world and just make sure that you're just giving for free. I mean, give the money for free and be the leader up there. You understand? I mean, you make a massive event and you're standing in front of the crowd, you're teaching them, and they may give you some money because of the ticket class or whatever. Although you understand that you have all the money, you may as well make sure you just do it for free. You understand? I mean, when you have that much money, you do it for free. And guess what? People are going to start coming to events and you're going to be recognized. And I promise you, that's the lifestyle. You understand? And you make big events, you go into the seminar, you go into the cinema and you be an actor on screen. You give someone money to be an actor, you give someone money to have a jet or something like that and go and live the lifestyle. I mean, when you have all that money, go and use it. You understand? And before you die, guess what? Go and make sure that no matter what, that everything you use, use up all the money before you die. You understand? And that's it. That's how you use your money, because you never go and use your money into gold and put in a private vault, and that way, what is it going to do? It's just going to stay there. Go and use the money. You have to go and use up all of it over time. So do that, please, and make sure no matter what that you're always studying upon more finance and economics, and read about Robert Kiyosaki and his books, and also there's Grant Cardone and his books and his YouTube channel also, and Robert Kiyosaki's YouTube channel. You have Lewis Howes' YouTube channel, and good luck. You understand? Because you also have Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Brian Tracy's channels, and you can go and dive in, and you can be a person of that nature who can really be a public speaker of the highest quality. You understand? And you have Les Brown too. And I promise you that no matter what, you be inspired today, guys. I hope that you share this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.